I'm a single mother, 43, of 2 kids, 18 female and a teen male. Their fathers are not in the picture. Recently, I was contacted by my ex-brother-in-law, 42. He told me that when he was married to my sister, 38, he had started a college fund for my kids. They separated, but he still wanted to give the money to my children. It's not a full ride amount, but it'll mean that my daughter won't have to work during college unless she wants to spend money, and it's more than me or my parents can give her. I was overjoyed at this, but I asked him not to tell anyone because my sister had grown quite bitter about their divorce. I'm not really sure what went down, but they had separate finances, so I don't think it would be due to monetary reasons. When I told my family we had received a donation to my daughter's college fund, everyone was overjoyed, but also really suspicious because there have been times in the last few years when money would have really helped. Someone in my family started the joke that I got this from my boss for favors. It's untrue, but my sister and brother won't let it go. Let's get takeout tonight. Hey, X, go sleep with your boss and get it. I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but it's really quite hurtful to have my family saying these things, even as jokes. I'm considering telling them that brother-in-law's the one behind it. It'll stop them from insisting on knowing the source, but it might hurt my sister to know he helped us. But my sister hates him and wants nothing to do with him. She doesn't ever want to talk about their divorce and basically curses his name. So me taking money from him would make me an idiot. I know she cheated on him before they were married, but I don't know what really happened in the end. She said they'd just grown apart and got divorced. Everyone's the idiot here. You shouldn't have said anything. So you created this problem for yourself. Now that you're getting crap for it, you want to cause more drama by revealing the source. Don't do that. This will just cause more problems for you and your family and the brother-in-law trying to help you. If they like to belittle you, then this will just give them more ammo. Tell your family repeatedly that you don't appreciate their behavior and find a way to shut that down that doesn't give them more ways to hurt you. Why the heck would you mention a financial windfall at all? What purpose or benefit does that provide? Only your kids needed to know. Now they'll all come asking you for money, expecting you to have some lying around. Even the kids don't need to know. Kids, like adults, can't keep their mouths shut. Send them to college, pay for it, and keep the specifics to yourself. There's nothing to be gained from telling them the source of the funds. Your family will switch from accusing you of sleeping with your boss to sleeping with your ex-brother-in-law, which will be an even more unpleasant situation. It sounds like some distance from your sister and brother is in order until they stop their behavior, and tell them why you're low or no contact if they ask. Right. Next, they'll say you slept with brother-in-law, which is why he gave your kids money, and that you ruined your sister's marriage. Then there'll be a round of paternal testing to see if brother-in-law fathered your children. Do you still want to tell your family it was brother-in-law? Perhaps just firmly ask your family to stop projecting their nasty thoughts on you. If the rumor mill's already started, you should check with brother-in-law if he's okay with you revealing it. You could say nothing, and the rumor mill runs wild, or you could make up your own rumors. Maybe you had a fling with a billionaire, or you invested in crypto, a scratch-off win, or you met an old guy at a bar, and he left you an inheritance rather than his family. Be creative and change the story every time it comes up. OMG, lean into it and mess with them. Make up outrageous stories of your boss and you until it's obvious that you made it up and they can stop. But if you're only trying to protect your sister's feelings and she's literally calling you a whore, who cares? The petty person I am would tell them the truth just to get on your sister's nerves for how she's been treating you. Yeah, why are you protecting her feelings? Ex-brother-in-law seems like a decent person, and your sister, well, not so much, huh? Honestly, there's no way I'd be able to sit there while people talked about me like that. So I'm guessing this ill treatment isn't new. Why are you spending time with these vile, hateful people? Abundance and Bounty are two supermarket chains, both with stores about 20 minutes away from me and about 15 apart from each other. I, 33 male, usually go to Abundance unless I want something I can only get at Bounty, and I haven't been asked for ID when buying alcohol in over 8 years at either store, or anywhere else for that matter. I went to Abundance yesterday to buy my weekly groceries and picked up a 6-pack of beer to enjoy on the weekend. I set the beers down in front of my other groceries on the conveyor belt, then moved to the other side to start packing. The cashier saw the beer and asked me for my ID. I told him I didn't have my ID on me, and he told me he couldn't sell me the beer and placed it to one side. I politely said, "Okay, no problem. Have a nice day," and then walked away, leaving all my groceries on the conveyor belt. I didn't take anything. As I walked away, he shouted, "Excuse me, sir." But I saw no reason to waste time continuing a discussion because he had already decided. I understand how strict they need to be regarding alcohol and ID. My mother worked in a liquor store for several years. To be very clear, I did not do this to get back at him, but rather because it meant I'd needed to go to Bounty to get the beer, and it didn't make sense to drag all my heavy groceries from Abundance to Bounty when I could get the same groceries from Bounty, including the beer. I also figured carrying bags of groceries from Abundance around Bounty wasn't wise because it might raise suspicions of shoplifting. So I went from Abundance to Bounty, bought everything I needed from Bounty, including the beer, then went home. When I got back, my girlfriend asked why it took so long, and after explaining it, she said I was an idiot for making things difficult for the staff at Abundance because they would need to restock all my stuff and possibly throw things away. I don't know if that last part is true, but she knows someone who works in a similar store and explained that they're pretty strict on how long certain products are allowed outside the freezers and refrigerators. She also said it was extremely rude that I walked away when the cashier tried to talk to me. I asked what she would have done, but she didn't have an answer, besides just coming home without the beer. But I don't see that as a solution. Am I the idiot? I'm a grown adult who threw a minor tantrum in a store because I was mildly inconvenienced because I'm too irresponsible to carry my ID with me. You are the idiot. Who is going to clean up your mess? A grocery fairy? Of course you left it there to inconvenience them. Otherwise you would have looked back when they called you. You were rude. You're 33. Grow up. It isn't just an inconvenience. At many stores, they have to throw out any frozen or refrigerated groceries because they can't be sure how long those have been out. Beyond safety, it's also a quality thing. OP, you indeed behaved like someone too young to buy alcohol. Well, bless your heart. A wee bit entitled, are we? It wasn't the clerk's fault that they were doing their job and probably following the law by asking for ID, which you should always have on you anyway. You had to carry cash or a card to pay for your groceries, and you knew you were getting beer, so why not take your ID? Clearly you just wanted to act all big and mighty and decided to take your frustration out on someone who doesn't get paid nearly enough to deal with idiots like you. Do better, man. My uncle was one of the most amazing natural musicians I've ever met. He never went to school to learn how to play. He was taught by his grandfather, who was taught by his father, and so on. He was my uncle on my mom's side, and he was my hero. He was a tiny little man who could play guitar like a god, and women would fall in love with him because of his voice. He only had eyes for my aunt, though. She's my mom's baby sister. When I was 6, I asked him if he could teach me how to play. He said it was hard work and that he wasn't a good teacher, but yes, he would teach me. I spent years learning from him, and then he died when I was 15. I continued to study guitar and attended university on a musical scholarship. My cousins are now in their teens and have never really shown any interest in learning how to play. My aunt started asking me to give them lessons, so I did for 6 months. They showed no interest no dedication, and no aptitude. After 6 months, I just couldn't do it anymore. I felt drained whenever I spent time teaching them. They had no drive, no spark. I was getting depressed from seeing my teacher's children have none of his abilities. I talked to my aunt about it. She admitted that she was forcing them to get guitar lessons. I told her that her children may have talents that lay in other areas. They're both gifted athletes and do well in school. She said that she understood and didn't make them come for lessons anymore. My mom says my aunt misses hearing music playing in her house and that the kids learning wasn't really the point. I played my uncle's guitar and she wanted to hear it, and that I took it away, and that I need to be more mindful of what others have done for me. I feel like an idiot for not understanding. I have hundreds, maybe thousands of hours of recordings of my uncle playing, and I put them all on a hard drive for her. Not just audio, but video of all his lessons and performances at parties and family gatherings. I showed my aunt how to watch them and put them on her phone, but I still feel bad for giving up on my cousins. Not the idiot. She admitted she forced them into learning. I understand she's still grieving, but that wasn't the right way to do it. She could have spoken to you without involving her children, and then you would have made the hard drive for her sooner, of all the footage, etc. You have nothing to feel guilty for. You did a nice thing for your aunt. Go over every once in a while and play his guitar for her. Your aunt is literally using you and causing both you and her children discomfort because she misses her husband. I completely understand, and I'm sorry to all of you for your loss. He sounded like a great guy, but there are ways of dealing with your grief, and this isn't it. She's being the idiot. Your mom's the idiot for making the comment she did, as if it's all on you to have known how your aunt felt, when she never really took the time to let you know. People seem to forget we're not all psychics and mind readers, and they need to communicate better. You're good. Move on. I got divorced a year ago. It was the best decision I ever made. I was basically a maid for the family. It was awful, not to mention I was working at the same time. Overall, it's been rough for the kids, with the youngest being a young teen and the oldest being nearly adult. They're doing well overall, and we basically have a 50-50 split with custody. It's wonderful to have days off and so much new free time when they're not home, so I've been able to explore new hobbies. So I joined a models club. You build models and you show them off. We meet monthly to show off our creations. I love it. My older son messed up this week, volunteered for a bake sale, didn't tell me, and forgot to make cupcakes. I was about to leave for my meeting last night, and he was panicking about not having it done. He asked me if I could do it, and I told him no since I was leaving. He was also leaving to hang out with his friend. This morning, cupcakes were not made since I wasn't doing it. We got into a huge fight about me not helping him out. I wasn't putting my life on hold for a simple mistake he made. He left for his father's, and my ex also argued with me about it and called me an idiot. Not the idiot. It's not your fault he volunteered to make cupcakes, forgot to inform you of this, and neglected to make them, and then chose to hang out with his friend when he could have canceled and made the cupcakes. Your son needs to learn how to prioritize his responsibilities over his wants. He could have canceled his plans with a friend and learned that neglecting his responsibilities has consequences. He didn't even have to cancel on his friend. Invite the friend over, make the cupcakes, which doesn't take much time, and then do whatever they were going to do. He could have even bought some, but why bother when you can just make mom do it? Then he threw a toddler tantrum and ran to daddy's. Your ex should mind his own business, as he no longer has any say in how you run your household. This is the crux of the matter. The son was raised in a family that treated one parent as the servant to the family. Gee, I wonder why they got divorced. He follows his father's example that women should generally be at their service. OP should sit down and have a serious adult conversation with this nearly adult man about his views of the role of women. There's still hope that OP can nip this behavior in the bud. I was going to say this, He should have just baked them himself, and Mom didn't even need to be involved. Also, teaching kids skills they will need in the wild is important. Baking cupcakes or brownies isn't difficult, but knowing how to bake something is useful. OP, teach the kid to learn to juggle his own stuff. He'll thank you later. My 21 male sister, nearly adult, has this boyfriend, 18, who's always around. He acts like he lives here. They've been dating for 2 years, so he's gotten really comfortable with our family and our house. My little brother, younger teen, is sick right now, and it's been really stressful. When I'm not at school, I'm either at the hospital with my brother or at home watching my preteen brother. It's been a lot. This morning I was making food to bring to my parents at the hospital when who should walk in? My sister's boyfriend. He asked me if I wanted help cooking, and I said no. He doesn't even know how to cook. He then stood there in the kitchen, getting in my way. I asked what he was doing, and he said he was waiting for me to be done. I asked why, and he said he was going to make something. I told him that maybe he should go to his house and use his kitchen then. He said he wasn't trying to bother me. I said that he was bothering me, and I was sick of him always being here, invading our space. I can't even relax in my own home. There are rare moments I get to myself because he's always here. He said I wasn't being fair and that he was scared for my brother too, and I shouldn't take it out on him. I told him to shut up, that he had no idea what he was talking about, and to go home. Then he said it's important to stick together during a tragedy. I said, yeah, families stick together, but he isn't a member of our family, so let us have a day or two a week to ourselves and leave us alone occasionally. Then he left. My sister was angry when she came down 20 minutes later. She said I'm a mean, bitter idiot. She said I had no right to say that to her boyfriend, and he's her guest, so he can come over whenever he wants. I didn't want to fight with her, so I just said, fine. Was I really being an idiot, though? Why is this guy always here? You are the idiot. Sorry, but it's not your house, so you don't make the rules. It sounds like he was doing what he usually does and is also there to support your sister. He even offered to help you out. Calm down. He was just chatting casually with you. It just sounds like you've got a personal issue with him and are trying to justify it. They've been together for 2 years, and the kid has become a family member, whether you like it or not, just from being in the home so often. You haven't mentioned anyone else's opinions on him, so it's likely that he's well liked within your household. Also, have you ever thought that he's always at your house because he prefers his girlfriend's family environment to his own? I get you're going through a tough time, but it sounds like he was trying to be there for your sister and your family, and you were just looking for a fight. Have you never had someone standing over your shoulder in the kitchen while you're trying to cook? It's the most aggravating crap when they're only there to get in your way. The boyfriend is literally standing next to them, waiting for them to be done. It's an idiot move. Not the idiot. I'd lose my patience pretty quickly too. Update. Thank you all for the advice, everyone. I did end up talking to my dad. He came home and spoke to my sister's boyfriend. He told the boyfriend he needed to not come over before 11 in the morning or be here after 7 at night. He also told the boyfriend he couldn't use our kitchen or let himself into the house. He needs to knock and be let in, and when he's hungry, he needs to go home to get food. My dad also put my brother's games in his room and told the boyfriend not to go into anyone's bedroom he hadn't been invited into. My sister was pretty upset about this, especially the rules saying he had to leave by 7 p.m. My dad asked her if he's been sleeping over, and she swore up and down he hasn't. I don't think that's true, but it doesn't matter. My sister's boyfriend was pretty embarrassed and apologized to my dad, saying he didn't realize he was being a nuisance. My dad said it was fine and hugged him. I told him I was sorry I snapped on him, and we hugged it out too. So I think everyone is good, even though my sister is angry at me and my dad. My dad said she'd be better off in the long run because if she wanted to see her boyfriend outside those hours, she'd have to leave her room.